Okay, welcome everybody to this huge 11/11 2025 144K mass intervention, as we often call it. And yeah, this is going to be a special one because there's a particular phenomena, where we're really going to zero in on something that really is holding up the works to really bust through the doors. That's really going to cause us, the light forces, to really bust through the doors when it comes to the physical surface situation of this planet, to really transform the energies, like it briefly did in early October when our galactic brethren started intervening directly on the physical plane surface, which is quite the breakthrough. It was brief, and it drew a response, which again was a desperate response to prevent change. Well, transformation on the physical surface. Once transformation reaches the physical surface and our day-to-day experiences of completely different energies, it really is over. Without, despite the long-term changes to the financial system, release of technologies, contact not being manifest quite yet, the transformation of physical plane energies is still, transformational, night and day difference. You're there. We made it, and you'd know it. Simply the disappearance of fear alone at a deep base root subconscious level, or at least in terms of frequencies being beamed at us, that really is the last set of jail cell bars. And so what we're going to do is we're really going to go deep this time. We're really going to take our time, showing the overall fear charge resonances to the teams. Very carefully, slowly, methodically. Remember, the secret source in real energy work and healing and liberation is simply showing, the show and tell part with benevolent and extremely powerful light beings. So take a time settling in. Really take a time settling in and begin that deep, slow process of entering meditation, that alpha brainwave meditative state, relaxed but alert. And breathe deeply and slowly through your nose. Very important. Do not breathe through your mouth. Breathe deeply and slowly. This, of course, effectively begins the mass meditation. And if you're new, welcome, dear one. You're going to learn some pretty profound, fundamental, and cutting edge energy work or psychic healing techniques and tools, all for free. Now begin the process of really stepping out of linear time and accessing your higher self and psychic gifts that you do have by stepping into the now and then deeper into the now, as if you're going under hypnosis, just really letting go of this world. Simply by letting go of all thoughts, perceptions, beliefs, emotions, letting them go and being here with a blank slate, a blank mental slate, to get into the now and the higher mind through detachment, non-trying, blank mental state. You're open, your teacup is empty. Now, for those of you who consciously have guides, go ahead and call them in now. See them next to you. Okay. Now engage the consciousness of the right hemisphere of your brain, your physical brain. The software that it runs on is referred to by this matrix and left hemisphere brain as imagination. Another infamous misnomer. It simply means a limitless form of thinking, or no thinking, really. Simply use the right hemisphere of your brain where there's no limitation, and your left hemisphere simply receives the information. But step into that. You can never imagine anything that doesn't already exist in your subconscious and superconscious mind that's connected to the all. Hold the intent and set the intent to simply operate from there, from now on. And that everything you do imagine is real. That's why Pablo Picasso said that. And with that, project your consciousness from the physical to the non-physical to construct non-physical quantum waveform particles into whatever holographic reality you want by seeing yourself in a gigantic, silver, very translucent, sort of dark toned, translucent silver ball, crystal silver ball. And now, look all around and see the golden light bodies or astral bodies of all your 144K comrades, evenly spaced, facing inward towards the center, just on the inside of the equator of this giant crystal ball. All around like a golden dotted ring. And now, let's call in Gaia, the nexus planet of this entire universe and multiverse, and seemingly omniverse, which is why it's the most highly prized thing, seemingly anywhere, because what happens here affects the multiverses and omniverse. So let's call her in. You can call her in your own way if you want, or if you have your own connection with her and long-standing relationship. Otherwise, you can just follow along with me. Authentic Gaia. Authentic Gaia. We call upon the one true authentic goddess Gaia. Connect with us now. Be here with us, please. See her in the middle. In the center of the crystal ball and dotted golden ring, adore and admire the beautiful polar ice caps, clouds, white clouds over the blue oceans. Just see that from a distance. And now we ask her in unity. Authentic Gaia, can we please have your permission to take you up to managers of multiverses? Okay, good. And now we start to move up through the layers of this universe. You notice the first few membranes, if you will, of different realities, physical and non-physical. A lot more than just dimensions or densities. We're really stepping outside the 4D and 5D matrix as well, all matrices, whether they're divine and organic or not, up through everything. And you just see the soft flickering of light moving super fast from top of the crystal ball down to the bottom, racing through everything. Traveling at incredible speeds racing towards that last thick outer boundary of this universe. And remember, you'll be showing the teams some of your own personal experiences and resonances of the energies you've been experiencing, and they'll trace it to its root cause. And allow the soft flickering light of every layer of this universe through the translucent walls of the crystal ball, Gaia in the middle, sort of center you, calm you even more. You don't have to see things perfectly at all. Again, faint images are often the most accurate ones. And you get calmer and more still and centered and detached. And in the now, your access point to truth and accuracy and psychic abilities through your higher self. The higher and higher we get, look all around, look over to the far left and far right and see the next few 144K comrades, brothers and sisters, standing together. And going up here to these managers of multiverses amplifies the power and impact and effectiveness of this mass meditation by 100. And now, take your last glance at Gaia in the middle. And we reach and push through that last thick outer boundary of this universe. It goes bright white. You can barely see Gaia in the middle. And we're through. You see a big ball of light that is the universe that we just left. Rapidly turned into a small ball of light, and you see a whole ocean of other small balls of light that are all the neighboring universes in this portion of this multiverse. And we rise above that. And we rise above a whole ocean of multiverses. And that all turns into one, I suppose, kind of hazier ball of light. We're going back to some pretty primordial powers, little known. Okay, take a glance at Gaia and your guides if you have them. Otherwise, enjoy this view as I run through some standard protocols. Authentic HOD, authentic HOD. I call upon the one true authentic light beings the HOD. Please make sure we go to you and no one else true HOD. And now you look up, and through the roof of the crystal ball, you see a point of white light, slowly getting bigger and bigger and stronger, lighting up the whole roof of the crystal ball really brightly. And now we finally reach it. We come to a sudden yet somehow gentle stop. And we slowly, lovingly move through this platform of light. Super high frequencies here as it slowly and lovingly envelops the crystal ball. Closes at the bottom, opens up at the top. Be in a state of allowance and neutrality and non-trying. Through so-called imagination, be in the right hemisphere of your brain. Your left hemisphere of your brain will not serve you. Judgment, expectations, staying within your spiritual paradigm and mental paradigm instead of stepping outside of it will not serve you. Step outside. It's all good. As we gently nestle On top of this platform of light, we now form a straight line behind and a bit above Gaia. The crystal ball peels evenly and slowly from the top center of the crystal ball nice and slowly to allow for a more gentle decompression because these are super high frequencies. And it all disappears. And now look up and see, because this is important. It's all about connection and truly being present with light beings and establishing your own connection. Don't need to be fussed about getting it right, quote unquote. It doesn't quite work that way. It's about detachment, non-trying, presence. You know, that singular focus. It can happen instantaneously. Be open to that. Now look up and see and connect with these managers of multiverses that have extreme powers and levels of consciousness. You may simply see them as light beings. If you're new, it's actually 5 of them. Very holographic, very translucent. And it's okay if you don't feel anything initially, because the further away a particular level of light or light being is in terms of density level, the more subtle and softer they are to sense, especially given that we're accustomed to the rough energies here. So be still, non-trying, in the right hemisphere of your brain that has no limitations, and that's being perfectly scientific. And just look at them and feel, or allow yourself to feel or receive their unique energy signature. And think of nothing else. And have a little bit of background attention or background consciousness on the center of your head where some of our higher senses are. Are you the authentic light beings of the Hod? Authentic Hod, please send us a massive wave of your energy so we can truly feel you to an undeniable, unmistakable physical level. Take a deep breath through your nose and breathe deeply and slowly through your nose and just look at them. Through the now moment, which means forgetting about everything else, ignoring everything else, completely letting go of any expectations, judgments, thoughts, emotions of any shape, form, or kind. Blank slate. This is powerful energy working tools and protocols. This is how we get a lot more bang for our buck, so to speak, when it comes to planetary liberation via mass meditations. Allow yourself to now go deeper into the upper theta brainwave states through complete detachment via the now and so-called imagination, meaning engage the right hemisphere of your brain. Step outside your existing level of consciousness. The benefit is profound. And if you're new, you may be yawning a lot or having trouble staying awake. That's because you're getting pumped full of super high frequencies for the first time. It's all good. Stick with it. Ironically, by trying even less. Okay, authentic God, send us a massive wave of your energy to our hearts. Engage the heart, where we now operate from there. And now have a little bit of background attention on the center of your chest or sternum for that subtle or not so subtle, unique energy signature. Allow the stillness and centeredness and detachment of this deep meditative state take you even deeper to this massively high level of light or profound connection. Let your imagination run wild with the limitless attitude of a child to fully engage the right hemisphere of your brain, which is limitless and non-linear in nature. That's what it's there for. Okay. And don't worry if you didn't feel much at all. If you're new, this is new boundaries, new horizons for you. Again, just being here helps clear your field and return some focus back to your guides if you have them. Otherwise, admire Gaia. While I quickly finish up with the protocols and getting us into omnipresence. I call upon the one true authentic infinite army, the authentic amalgam of the Oberon lineage. Please be here with your vast fleet. They're all beneath us. I call upon the elders of the amalgam. I call upon the team of beings that created this universe, this Nexus universe, and physicality as a way of finally corralling the dark back to the light, known as Oberon, that presents itself as one man. You can see him as a giant golden being of light, off to the right, perhaps, on the other side of Gaia. Okay. Repeat after me, everybody. I call upon all of my higher density aspects, higher self, and see him or her, perhaps to the left of Oberon. On the other side of Gaia, who's below and beneath us. The North Polar ice cap shining brightly. Okay. Repeat after me. I call upon the entirety of my authentic soul. And see a star. It looks like a star appear up above, just above the heart. Your infinite self. Okay, repeat after me. I call upon the entirety of my oversoul and see a slightly larger ball of light, perhaps in a different color. Appear behind your soul. And repeat after me. I call upon my authentic I am presence and see, almost like a soft burst, an even bigger ball of light, back to white perhaps, behind your oversoul. And so these are very high versions of your higher selves, your oversoul and I am. Really connect. Just by kind of losing yourself, for lack of a better term, in this image. We're harnessing our I am and oversoul collective. Incredibly powerful. Okay. Authentic Legion of Light, here is Gaia. Here is the loving, selfless 144K. Take us to the place of omnipresence to amplify this mass meditation impact by another 100 times. Now see everything go. Take a brief glance up at your I am, that's fundamentally omnipresent, and see everything go bright white. It's so bright you have to squint your eyes. You can barely see Gaia in the middle. As we are taken to omnipresence, this cleanses your auric field even further. And don't have to see it perfectly at all. And we're there. Okay. Now begin this process. Again, the planetary liberation stage or phase is what it is, and it's largely handled, but could be much better, to say the least. We're going to do something that's really going to raise the frequencies that allows the light forces, terrestrial and non-terrestrial, to do and shut down so much more, either directly, us directly, or indirectly by altering the timelines and frequencies and removing some non-physical blocks, even physical blocks. Like synergistically, we support each other. Now, both positive military agencies and non-terrestrials, and inner earthers for that matter. Now take your time, because it's important, by being really present with these managers of multiverses and your I am at a minimum. You really feel and see them and be with them, whilst at the same time showing them any fear resonances or whatever primary or general negative emotion you've been experiencing these past few days, whatever you've been waking up with. And you don't have to, no need to relive it fully or anything like that, just a little bit of it. You can all be done in a split second, but see them or have them in the background of your consciousness at the same time. All right, this is powerful energy healing technique or tool that you'll want to apply to your own life anyway. So just do that for now. It really does show and tell, and by being really present with them is really where it's at. So-called psychic secret. I'm going to be quiet for a few minutes for you to do that through non-trying and presence, and a certain level of detachment. This is critical because they need to get in here into this world through us, through what we show them. For them to receive what we show them. Again, such level of deep presence and stillness with Gaia up here with us has long already started the mass meditation. We're just setting things up for a critical move. Very strategically and tactically. Show them the basic resonance. Not necessarily emotion per se, but the basic resonant energy. Your typical daily experience and the resonant energy of that, the frequency of that. Just casually show that to them as you're looking at them, so they can wipe clean through our energy fields to the root cause. Powerful, powerful way of doing internal clearing as well, but arguably the best way to do an internal clearing as well. This is the real secret to getting to the root cause of a given problem, whether it's internal or external. And you can take a few goes, you sort of play around with it, if you will. Don't worry about getting it all perfect. It can all be done in a second. But keep on showing them, sharing them. Have it all out with it, if you will. As they work through their waves of light, working through what you're feeling, so they can seize on the cause, trace it back to the cause. And Mercury and Jupiter and Neptune in particular are in retrograde, so this is perfect for looking deep underneath the surface, especially as it relates to the collective. So really run with this. Alrighty. Now, let's surround Gaia. As always, see at least two of the HOD and your I am at a minimum in the background. Your I am just up above, but across. It's simply a big ball of light. You can see your soul and oversoul in front of it if you like, but really tune into your soul by looking at it, feel it at the heart level, align with it without an ounce of trying. It doesn't work through trying. It's simply through a consciousness acceptance through the now is the best way I can verbalize it. Say to it now, guide me. And in the foreground, look at Gaia. Put Gaia in a quarantine sphere. Pick your color, holographic color of Gaia that represents omnipresence. Could be green, it could be violet, indigo, whatever. Just do that and get comfortable with that. Okay, so expand your vision if you haven't already and just see again. See things in whatever way works for you. Remain in the right hemisphere of your brain through the now with the limitless attitude of a child. It really frees the mind, and that's where it's at. Again, faint images work just as well. So it's all good. Forget about perfection. Let go and let God. See your soul over soul and I am over on the other side. And at least two of the HOD to the left and right, all in the background, Gaia in the foreground, a little below us. Surrounding her with love, we're going to free humanity. And all that is because we're on a Nexus planet. So, and remember, upon the guidance of your true essence, who you really are, your soul over soul I am, whenever you see anything dark, you see the dark grey, sometimes faint grey or black, through this method of seeing, remember to turn it white by turning it white, visualizing it turning white. That's you transmuting with your true light. Always change background colors if you need to, of the quarantine sphere or holographic Gaia to a darker tone to differentiate and see the white light easier. You're the god or goddess, literally. Do as you want. Just be willing to step outside your mental and spiritual reference points or paradigm. That's the secret. Now, don't think. The thinking is going to get in the way. So do things seemingly way too fast and haphazard from the left hemisphere brain perspective. That way you can see and do, and your soul guidance can come through you before your left hemisphere brain even has a chance to think. Otherwise, when it tries to analyze something, it gets in the way, then you start having difficulty. So let go, act as if you're under deep hypnosis. so that your intent really does run the show. The right hemisphere of your brain and your soul's guidance knows. You just have to set the right intent and then let go by doing, not thinking. Powerful psychic secrets, so-called secrets. So just run with what I say. Don't think, do, allow. It's all instantaneous because the answer, or in this case, image, is right where the intent is set, or the answer is right where the question is asked. Keep that in mind. Okay. Repeat after me. Authentic soul over soul and I am. Authentic Hod. And guides, take me to Zimbabwe, which is just on the northeastern border of South Africa. Allow your soul over soul I am to show you that image in whatever way it shows it to you. Receive, let go. It doesn't have to be seen perfectly at all. Within this holographic image of Gaia, now look over. Zimbabwe, holographically, it's all holographic because nothing escapes your higher mind's eye when working in this way. We're really going to open up the doorway to a higher 1111 doorway. It is 1111 in Times Square right now. Let's make it happen. Have faith. Do, don't think. Step way outside your mental paradigm and reference points. Repeat after me. Authentic I am over soul and soul of I. Authentic heart and guides in a way that keeps me safe. Show me the core of Gaia. So see Gaia holographically. You can pick dark toned background colors of Gaia and the quarantine sphere, whatever. Abstract images, faint images work just as well. Forget about getting it right. It just doesn't work that way. It's done through you, through openness and being in the now, not by you per se. Okay, repeat after me. Authentic source. Authentic cosmic central sun of this universe. Authentic galactic central sun. Authentic I am and Hod. Come through the central core of Gaia at the physical quantum substrate. Subspace level. So this is kind of like the void of that's in between spaces. Don't have to understand it analytically, logically. Forget that. That will not serve you in the slightest bit. I'm just giving you some basic reference points to go by. So hold that intent and pick whatever color works for you. That represents the quantum substrate. It's full of wormholes that goes from A to B in an instant, whether it's, and every atom and particle has it. There's wormholes in between spaces that goes from A to B, whether B is another part of this world in an instant, or the other side of this universe, or any other universe throughout the multiverse or omniverse, in a heartbeat. It's connected via wormhole, also known as quantum entanglement. So, see that in whatever color is represented by that. Pick your color, could be violet, purple, indigo, whatever. See Gaia's core. And see an emanation of light, a soft glowing membrane of light. Again, whatever color you want to represent source. Ultimately, there's other frequencies and light level presences. And bring it through and pick your color that to you represents source. My personal favorite is magenta because of its divine feminine nature. And see a soft white membrane with perhaps magenta, if you want, within this holographic membrane starting to expand out from the central core of Gaia. Some call it the central sun of Gaia, which affects all of our personal central suns. It's a whole other story. And just expand it and allow yourself to take that occasional image of the micro where this light, it's impossible to explain, to feel every wormhole within every atom in between spaces. So subquantum, or also known as quantum substrate, below the quantum level, filling this void, but also coming through wormholes into regular space, regular time space, through every atom, quantum particle, and atom. Okay, so the power of your mind can see any size it wants. It's just a question of intent. So expand it out. We're actually ending time, but in a more gentle way. Receive that image. Again, it's often abstract for the analytical mind to be able to understand it, but receive. We're bringing in source at the physical third density level into the quantum substrate. Through which everything is connected to everything. As we slowly expand, this highest density, source-based frequency, resonance, energy, or ether, as some call it, through the quantum substrate. You don't have to know what that is. You just hold that intent, because I can guarantee you the right hemisphere of your brain, let alone your soul over soul I am, knows exactly what that is. So allow it to move. Cleansing, clearing, source light, transmutational light, through the quantum substrate. Of the third density physical plane, holding that intent as we expand this sphere of source, essentially. Again, there will be a glowing soft white, transmutational white membrane on the outside of this expanding magenta sphere. For anyone who chose magenta to represent source. Expanding through the quantum substrate or beneath the quantum level, in between spaces. And as we do that, this light also comes through all wormholes within all quantum and atomic particles into regular time space. And so that's the micro side of this, that you can allow yourself, through the guidance of your soul, to get that occasional image of that micro image of light coming through subspace or the quantum substrate. There's a few terms for it, which doesn't help. And through wormholes. So think of this as a void that comes through wormholes within atoms, because atoms are essentially their own toroidal sphere, and into this regular time-space reality. So sort of that's how it's expressing. We're expressing source, returning what is ultimately love, goddess love, that source, returning it back to reach the physical level. But there's another technical reason why we're doing this. So bear with me, that's coming up soon. And expand it out, still well within inner Earth, by the way. Just take that occasional zoom out so you can see your I am and two of the hot on in the background. Again, you don't have to see things perfectly. Don't think, let go, have faith. This is how breakthroughs happen. Okay. Okay, repeat after me. Authentic inner earth civilizations of the light. Authentic galactic confederation. Ashtar command and Jupiter command. Work through us now. Feel the quantum substrate, also known as subquantum level of this physical plane with pure source light at a light accretion level. Surface humanity can handle. Expand it out and see, I don't know, like a kick up or crackling of light ahead of this expanding membrane or sphere of source light throughout the quantum substrate, aka subquantum level. Filling every wormhole that connects one end of the planet to the other, or this universe to God knows what universe throughout the multiverses and omniverse. Purifying any darkness within so-called quantum entanglement to disconnect and isolate something that we'll be getting to in a few minutes. Answers are coming for this profound breakthrough and timeline upgrade. Okay, there's some major readjustment and recalibration and cleansing going on, still well beneath the surface, because this is huge change all at once. That's going to really help us cope a lot better with the coming X-class flares, by the way. Otherwise, it's going to be rough. All right, expand. Again, play around with what images you received. It could be specific micro images or just a general broad macro image of seeing that expanding, ever expanding sphere of light with that holographic membrane. So still largely magenta, but with a white transmutational light membrane. Expand it out. Coming closer and closer to the surface, still well underground, because this is a big adjustment. And see the white membrane transmute, clear all wormholes throughout this subquantum level or void or in between all spaces, or that connects to all spaces. So there's quantum substrate, there's subquantum level, the void between spaces. I know it doesn't help that there's several different terms to describe the same thing, but again, your higher self, soul over soul, and right hemisphere brain knows. Your left hemisphere's brain is simply to hold that intent, and it gets done for you. That's the way we do what we do. The intent is that ultimate sort of algorithm, if you will. Okay, expand. And there's already reaction just ahead of this expanding sphere of source light with the transmutational membrane. Cleansing, purifying, sub-quantum level. And the quantum substrate, where one wormhole from within one atom can easily connect to another atom on the other side of the planet in an instant. It's all one thing, this quantum substrate, sub-quantum level of reality. That's all. And yes, it does help clear the sub-quantum anomaly, as it's called, where everything's reversed. Okay. Coming closer to the surface, reaching the Earth's crust, cleanse, cleanse, cleanse the quantum substrate. Hold that intent. So you go holographically, and the surface area, in whatever way works for you, with a thin sort of boundary, translucent boundary. Again, very hard to verbalize into words such phenomena. So use what I say as a basic guide. Now, we're reaching the crust, the physical crust area, although from the subquantum or quantum substrate level, that's kind of insignificant because it's all one void, one empty space anyway. But we're filling the wormholes that goes through every atom that goes between this quantum substrate or void through each atom, through the wormhole within each atom, and into regular time-space of this physical reality. It's filling those wormholes with light, cleansing them as well, and disconnecting dark from communicating with each other from one side of the planet to the other. Because Source is kind of like the new gatekeeper, if you will. So fill wormholes. Again, see it casually, haphazardly, before you even get a chance to think. You can see it as abstract representation. Faint images always works just as well, because we're now reaching the level of what of the DUMBs, deep military underground bases. What's left of them? There's still about 15% of them left. And if you do see any, see them as little dark grey spheres, because they're losing their access to the quantum substrate or the void or subquantum level, and the wormholes that they would use to connect to us, for example. The plot is thickening. Bear with me. And zoom outwards, moving through the lower crust of the planet. And moving through the lower crust of the planet. We're coming to the climax here. Underneath the seabed, what image, with your intent clearly set, what image is your soul, oversoul, I am, and particularly the HOD, giving you, that's already there, regardless of whether you see it or not? It might look like something, not recognizable. Receive. Step aside. Let your soul, oversoul, I am come through. Let your higher self come through. Step aside by letting go with the limitless attitude of a child. Don't analyze, don't think, never serves. The intent has been set. Okay. Now, if anyone's struggling to be guided by your soul, oversoul, I am, as this membrane sphere of source light begins to gently move through the level of the lower physical crust of the planet, where some of the dumbs are, visualize you're in this realm while it's the quantum substrate. Pick your colors, pick your imagery, and visualize all these wormholes up above, connecting to regular time space. So quantum substrate or subspace or subquantum level, connecting through wormholes that go through atoms into regular time space up above. And you only need to see the bottom half of these wormholes and see a rush of goddess magenta love, pure base root love, sweeping from what looks like a horizon through this subquantum level of reality that's like a void, through you, through your imagery. It's all now from murky, little bit swampy, wonky energies to whoop, a brief flash of light, and it's all magenta. And see this magenta racing up through these wormholes, cleansing the wormholes and coming up through atoms. On the other side, faint images will do, feeling regular time space, but don't spend much time there. Just stick within the quantum substrate. Repeat after me. Authentic HOD, authentic source, authentic I am, authentic Galactic Confederation, authentic positive inner earth civilizations, send your frequencies and love through these quantum substrate, through your technologies, with your consciousness now, in unity. And see source light rush through. Well, see these wormholes turn from dark grey to violet and hold the intent. There's like a band of white light that goes through them, transmuting them, essentially cleansing them, and see them turn into violet, like purple. See this magenta source light going into these violet wormholes. Repeat after me. Authentic I am presence, authentic source, authentic God. Expand throughout the all of this subquantum substrate, this subquantum level, this void, throughout this physical plane, throughout this planet. End dark quantum entanglement. Now spread throughout the all. And only if you see just 2 or 3 wormholes having turned violet with magenta source goddess love traveling through them. And now zoom out and see it all turn into a macro image of the same thing. So you briefly see all these wormholes into like a long, thin membrane, like a horizon. Zoom out, see all of Gaia, and now you see that original expanding sphere moving through with that white transmutational cleansing membrane, but predominantly magenta because it's very holographic, moving through the crust of Gaia, penetrating DUMS, deep military quantum AI DUMS, through their system, accessing their system, hacking their system, but mostly focus on expanding this magenta sphere with that transmutational white thin membrane, very holographic, moving it through the quantum substrate, also known as subquantum level of reality, the void that wormholes connect to, gently through the surface. That's where the highest concentration of negative, whatever form of negativity, through these wormholes within the quantum substrate or subquantum level exists. It's mostly focused on the surface area. Move it through and feel these giant motherships, giant spheres of advanced positive civilizations outside of Gaia, within Gaia, assisting us, working through us. See the surface area of Gaia in whatever holographic way works for you. See the magenta, feel coming close to the surface with cutting off darkness AI access to the subquantum level of reality, also known as the quantum substrate. Expand it out, coming close to the surface. Again, take that occasional micro image and macro image. This is one big push. We're all doing in unity. See your I am at a minimum. Over on the other side, outwards we go. Okay, coming close to the surface. Cleansing with that outer membrane. Again, expand out your image. Try even less. Let go and let God. Let your soul do it. Let your soul do it. Let your higher self do it through you. You've set the intent, just be the witness. Don't have to see things perfectly. Okay. Now about to reach the surface on the other side of 1111 in Times Square. Feel it with source love, pure goddess love, the quantum substrate, the subquantum level, with a cleansing, mass transmutation. Via that white membrane of the expanding sphere. Again, the majority of so-called subquantum anomaly, negative, false, reversed AI frequencies and codes and their access to wormholes back into regular time space, in other words, us and our minds and emotions, it's all being cleansed. Intensify the white transmutational membrane as it starts to move through the oceans, clearing the void between spaces that connects atoms or one part of the world to the other via wormholes. They go straight to each other via this quantum substrate, this void. Filling it with source now. Okay, moving through the oceans, racing through the oceans. Quantum substrate, the void. Subquantum level, filling with source. And then expressing into this regular reality through the wormholes. Cleansing the wormholes at the same time. All right, moving through. All right, reaching the surface of the oceans, although it's sort of in one way irrelevant when it comes to the void or the quantum substrate, because it's all one, but bear with me. In terms of where it's coming through the wormholes of all the atoms, we're at the surface of the ocean's level, sea level, and now starting to come through the surface of the land, or the low altitude land. Again, take that occasional long outer distance expanded view to kind of check in with at least two of the height in your I am at a minimum over in the background, and go in the foreground, expand it out, and in whatever way it is received by you through your right hemisphere of your brain from your soul over soul I am, receive that, even if it's just a representative image. You can't screw this up if you hold that simple intent and basic vision of the magenta, preceded by that transmutational white membrane of the expanding sphere, moving through, feeling the subquantum level of reality, also known as quantum substrate. And moving through the surface up through the very ground that you're at. My dog is playing around in a way that it hasn't for a while. And you can see the surface, if you haven't already, as like a thin holographic sort of membrane, and the bright white, amongst the dark indigo background, if you want, just a portion of it. It's all representative, and the white light just moving through. Cleansing the quantum substrate, followed by the magenta source, love, goddess, pure essence, filling the quantum substrate, coming through the ground, through you. Just imagine it going bright white through the floor of your house or room, wherever you're in. You have to squint your eyes. You can barely see your body. This white light clears the quantum substrate or the subquantum level, cleanses. And then it's just magenta. Everything is magenta. See your body holographically, and the bones and muscles in between your legs, through your legs. See it as all magenta. Source is back at the surface level, within the subquantum level of reality, quantum substrate. Now return your image back to where it was throughout, up here, above all that is, with the HOD and your I am and the teams and your guides. Return that image, expand through the lower atmosphere, feeling the quantum substrate. We can move faster now because it's less quantum anomaly, chaos energy, reversed energy garbage within this surface area. So expand it out. Again, see the quarantine sphere, holographic quarantine sphere, with an indigo background to differentiate, if you wish, whatever background color you chose for the quarantine sphere. Run with that. Expand it out. Magenta, expanding magenta. Feel love coming from that magenta holographic sphere, moving through the lower atmosphere, because this is affecting the entire universe and omniverse, by the way, because it's a nexus planet. That's why all darkness retreated back here, because you can control all that is pretty much from this nexus planet. That's a whole other story. It's okay if you're not aware of it. And see that outer membrane of that expanding, the outer white holographic membrane of that expanding sphere of source, basically, goddess source. Expanding outward, past the cloud line. Coming close to the upper atmosphere. And if you want, you can see a galactic central sun or cosmic central sun, ET ship or sphere up above. Doesn't only have to be your I am. They're working with us anyway. Expand, expand, expand. You're the boss. Just hold the intent. Allow the representative image to actualize this. You are changing the world. Literally. Congratulations for fulfilling your soul mission heroically. as you hold focus without an ounce of trying, with a limitless attitude of a child. Nothing is stopping you. Outwards we go. As we are creating and holding space for terrestrial and non-terrestrial forces to make a massive move and expand this holographic magenta sphere well out into the upper atmosphere, low Earth orbit. Zoom out, zooming in, see Gaia shrink, whatever you can make out of her, and expand it out. Outwards we go. Low Earth orbit, expanding it out. So you can keep on just adjust the imagery within the indigo quarantine sphere and just see it. You can see the moon if you want, because that's where we're stopping. You can see the moon at one little corner. There's a pale little dot, one end of the quarantine sphere, and see this magenta sphere with a white transmutational membrane. Expand outwards, reaching the moon, going through the moon. Clearing and cleansing the quantum substrate, aka subquantum level of reality, and cleansing the wormholes that travel through the subquantum substrate or subquantum level of reality that allows for dark intent quantum entanglement. And feel the whole quarantine sphere. Well done. Alrighty, now repeat after me. Authentic I Am Presence, authentic HOD, authentic Source, authentic Cosmic Central Sun races, authentic Galactic Central Sun races, authentic Galactic Confederation, authentic Intergalactic Confederation. It is commanded. Shut down and transmute all dark quantum entanglement. Throughout the subquantum substrate. Now, when your resistance that you see within the quarantine sphere, turn it white. Hold the white, transmute, change background colors if you need to. Don't have to see it perfectly. And we're done. Now let's finish off by zooming into, again, whatever color you want. Look up at your I Am. The HOD on either side. Oversoul and soul. Just see them there. Be with them. And repeat after me. And look at them as you say this. There is a deep underground military base that is causing me these horrible emotions. And you can show the emotions one more time if you like, briefly. And say, feel this, feel this. Within this deep military underground base, the dark ones are sending fear frequencies to a holographic version of myself that's quantum entangled with my real self here on the surface. And this now, shut it all down in conjunction with positive galactic family and nations. According to testing, this dam is underneath Zimbabwe, I'm sorry. Show me this dam. Return to a magenta. Image of Gaia. See Southern Africa. You know, you can see the coastline as a thin white little line. See, be holographic. See holographic. Now, Zimbabwe is just northeast of South Africa, for those of you who may not know. Zoom in and allow your intent, well, all your higher aspects to simply show you via your intent. And you're there. Because consciousness, because one, who you are is consciousness. Consciousness is already everywhere. So you're already everywhere already. So allow that. Accept that. So that your analytical, rational mind doesn't get in the way of that. That's why I say that's why you want to use and only run on the software or form of consciousness of your right hemisphere brain, because it does that seamlessly. So zoom in. And all you may see underneath Zimbabwe somewhere is a grey dot. When projecting your consciousness from the physical to the non-physical, or through this level of light up here above the multiverses, you don't have to see things in that physical, technical way, the way a surgeon or mechanic has to see things precisely. It doesn't work that way. Now that dome will have its own kind of like energetic barrier, electromagnetic force field, defense mechanism kind of thing. So it'll appear as a dark grey dot. With a magenta background, because it's now isolated. You can't do quantum wormhole access, quantum entanglement access to us. Now, there might still be some leftover stuff within your emotional body. Don't worry about that for now. If you haven't already, turn that barrier, turn it white. Without an ounce of trying, and just intensify the white light. And you can turn the background color, the magenta background color, into a darker toned indigo if you want. It's all good now. Or dark blue for that matter. Repeat after me. Authentic I am. Authentic HOD. Authentic Galactic Confederation and Intergalactic Confederation. And the Garthans, clear this space. Again, do whatever you want with the background colors. You can turn it to a darker indigo to be able to see, differentiate between the transmutational light of your soul over soul I am, and just see the light. You may see some ET ships all around this whole underground area, because all the physical reality is mostly empty space. Turn it white, break it down, and see the white, what looks like a bright white sphere. See it disappear. And you may see another barrier sphere, or whatever it is that you do see. You might see a cube, a black cube. It's all energetic defense mechanisms. But go outside your reference points to receive. Whatever it is that you see, because this is where you draw in your unique soul mission and task based on your unique soul talents. Draw on that simply by intent and centeredness, and see what you see per your particular soul talent and preordained task. Doesn't have to be clear images at all. Faint ones are usually the more accurate ones. hold, turn it white, and then watch the white disappear, transmuting, in other words, whatever it is that was dark. All right, see, white light sort of collapse and coalesce into this thing. And zoom in to where it's gone into. And see, all of a sudden, it looks like a rectangular cube. Fill it with white light. Could be more than one rectangular cube. This is the actual base itself, finally. Hold for the light. At a safe distance, of course. Now allow yourself to see two of the height in your I am on the other side, as if they're inside, this whole underground region surrounding the base. Repeat after me. Authentic galactic central sun race. Authentic galactic confederation. Authentic intergalactic confederation. Authentic cosmic central sun races. Authentic source. HOD. I am. Shut it all down. All systems, all quantum AI computer systems and technologies, cleanse and clear. Now maintain the white, intense white transmutational light within what to you looks like this deep underground military base. All right. Now come a little closer to what looks like the main central heartland of this dome, but seeing your I am and the height on the other side, at least two of them. But don't go inside. Just see the base lit up with light, white transmutational light from the outside, though. So all you would probably see is a square-shaped or cube-shaped or flat, more rectangular-shaped cube, whatever. And now, while you're holding a bit of background consciousness on that particular imagery, see an image of yourself that's, you're just standing upright, somewhat holographic, but almost lifelike. Don't worry about where, because it's actually within cyberspace in some holographic program within within this hard drive. Just see the image. That's all you need to do. And turn yourself white. Don't need to see yourself perfectly. Turn yourself white. And say to your I am and all positive extraterrestrials, enter now into this quantum AI computer system. And while you're holding the imagery of yourself that's now lit up in white light, your own white transmutational light. And this is the holographic digital version of yourself that's getting or has been getting beamed negative frequencies, making life much harder. Again, darken the background image into an indigo if you need to. And now raise that holographic version of yourself. So it's kind of like a digital version of a voodoo doll, basically. Zoom out a little bit and raise yourself. So you're looking like a light body now. You're just a bright figure. And raise yourself up and out. Don't try to understand it. Don't think. It's almost like a soft fragment retrieval, basically. And raise yourself up, zoom out. Background of the image doesn't matter. It's all cyberspace. Into a ball of light, which is your soul, but also a portal, because your soul is also a portal. And zoom out. And see this white little light body, narrow thin light body, zoom out, entering your soul. Disappearing to the white rays of your soul. Take your time or do it instantly, whatever works for you. Okay. You can do it twice or 3 times if you want, just quickly. And now see a whole heap, like rapid fire, a whole heap of rows and rows of people, other starseeds. just zoop, turning white. And zoop, 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 zipping up like these little thin, narrow little figures, light bodies, just zoop, 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 going up into a big wall of light. Act as if, feel as if the galactic and intergalactic and central sun ships are doing this with you, because they are. And now turn. Anything that represents quantum AI fields, but of a digital nature, cyberspace nature, just see it turn white, transmutational light, everything going bright, and then magenta. And it's no longer there. Now zoom out. And see the base, outside the base, that your higher self will show it to you in whatever reference point you need to be able to see it as in order to understand it. So it could be just a regular cube. All right, that's bright white because you had it white. You can do it again if you want. And zoom out, darken the background color to indigo if you need to. Transmute, turn it white, the whole thing white, the whole base white, and see it, and then see the white light disappear and nothing but indigo in the background. Now zoom out through the surface. Zoom out, see all of Gaia in that holographic image within the quarantine sphere. And now darken the whole quarantine sphere, including Gaia, into indigo, very holographic indigo color. Hold the intent to remove all your energetic traces and move a bright white light, a wave of it, from one end to the other, holding the intent of removing all your energetic traces down to the physical level. You can do it once or twice if you want. Top to bottom, left to right, right to left. Although once is enough. And we are done. Thank all the teams. Look at your I am, Oversoul, Soul, Hod, guides. Thank them. And well done. Return your awareness back to your room that you're in. Because you already are everywhere. We just have to retrain the mind, the conditioned Program mind. Well done, everyone. A huge well done. Now, these 144K mass meditations, they're not going to be this long, but when certain specific serious operations need to be done, it can go over 2 hours, let alone an hour. Okay, and very well done to all of you. If you're new, you've learned some and started to get trained on some, well, they're not necessarily advanced, just more better tools of working with energy, which is a critical thing to know and advantage to have with life, let alone internal healing. You know, we got massive X-class flares incoming. So this was needed to make things far more gentle. And let's see if we get any new intel through the usual sources over in the coming days. Because what we did today was really infecting the subquantum level of reality, or the quantum substrate, and all the interconnected wormholes that were full of darkness. And this was massively frustrating, pretty much stopping this current level or point of ascension and the light truly getting to the physical surface, and also negating very heavily direct intervention by our galactic brethren onto the physical surface. This quantum substrate situation and interconnected wormholes had to be dealt with, which is what darkness was using to threaten us with. You know, these wormholes that connect everything through quantum entanglement, through the quantum substrate, aka subquantum level of reality. That's what was coming. It was coming through that, these beaming of negative frequencies on these digital holographic versions of voodoo dolls. Not gonna fly. If you want to see any change, that is. With our intervention, again, as always with all energy work, it either solved the problem directly or solve the problem indirectly by helping the light forces hack into the computer systems within whatever this dam under Zimbabwe and shut it down to access it through the quantum substrate, through the quantum wormholes, and into our holographic versions, voodoo doll holographic versions, and then into the respective dark quantum AI systems that were sending us these negative frequencies through the quantum entanglement, through the quantum substrate, via these digital holographic voodoo doll versions of ourselves. And then you wonder why life is hard, or why things seem to backslide, and where's the direct intervention on the surface by our galactic brethren. It happened in that sequence. And we radically, again, either directly shut down the problem or created the space, held the space for our galactic brethren to get in there and shut down this absolute garbage. Intolerable garbage. I'm not implying resistance or attachment. Just in a honest, sincere, light-based level, it's just nonsense. Denying us our happiness. So I couldn't write about this in yesterday's email or even at the beginning of this mass meditation. We really had to get up there, be under their protection of the teams outside the quarantine sphere, and then do it very methodically. And that's how it has to be done, with the final ending plot revealed towards the end, when there's too much light for them to do anything in resistance. So well done. Big time. Well done. All that is, and never mind me, is literally saluting you. I hope you can receive it. Please do receive it. Please do accept it. Because even, what was it, a couple of days ago, I was listening to Gene Decode saying, all the Galactics out there, they consider us as heroes, having to somehow manage to survive all of this, the worst of the worst. So love to you all, and well done, with a capital W and a capital D like you would not believe. Now walk off. If you're in the US, just go for a walk. You can detach now and forget about it. You know, the incoming X-class flares, they're going to kick up some stuff, the usual boogies, some internal stuff. That's okay. It doesn't mean that this didn't work. It's just mass. I think the highest X-class flares that's ever been released have been released when that part of the sun was directly facing the Earth. So it's going to hit us smack on. Even since yesterday, which is why we had to do this intervention at this time. Otherwise, this mass purging and cleansing of anything dark, internal and external, from these X-class flares that are hitting hard as I speak, would have been a far more harsh experience. So well done, beloved ones. Love to you all. Stay tuned and walk off with your head held high, chest out, with pride. I really mean that. And all that is means it. Hugs to you all. This is your loving servant, the Unknown Light Warrior, ending this physical broadcast. 144K mass intervention. See you next time.